Can you smell it? That first drop of rain on hot earth, petrichor, it pulls you back to a childhood monsoon standing on a veranda watching the world turn green. You almost feel the cool spray, hear your mother calling you inside. The memory feels real, like a place you could visit, but is it truly real? Think of your earliest memory. Is it clear or just a blur, a feeling, a fragment? Maybe it's the scratchy texture of a sweater, or the taste of birthday cake. These fragments are the first lines in your story. We treasure them, believe in them, treat them as fact. But what if our minds are not cameras, but storytellers? Each time we remember, we edit, we embellish. The past isn't fixed, it's created anew each time we recall it. The home you grew up in, do you remember every detail or just the feeling? Memory is a ghost, haunting the present, whispering who we were. But a ghost is not a body, it's an echo, an impression. And it changes shape with every telling. Our memories are not a library of facts, but a collection of stories. The past is not something we simply remember, it's something we create again and again. We are anchored to a past that shifts beneath our feet. The memory is a ghost, haunting the present. It whispers to us about who we once were. But a ghost is not a body, it is an echo, an impression, and it can change its shape with every telling of its tale. The past is not a fixed photograph, it's a living, breathing story. We think of memory as a photograph, clear, factual, frozen in time. But look closer. A photo shows you what was, but memory tells you how it felt. The sun on your face, the nerves before a race, the pride, the disappointment. Memory is richer but less reliable. A photograph is a window, memory is a mirror. It reflects not just the past but who you are now. Your mood, beliefs and experiences add color to every recollection. Memory is a painting, not a snapshot, and you, the artist, are always touching it up. Imagine a book that rewrites itself every time you read it. That's your memory. The story of your first love changes as you change. The act of remembering is creative, not passive. Which version is true? Both and neither. Each memory serves the person you are in the moment. The past is not a fixed country. It's a story we tell ourselves about ourselves. We repaint the landscape to match our present weather. The past is not history, it is art. We are the artists and the canvas is never finished. Our memories are brushstrokes, not photographs. The truth is always shifting. The story is always being rewritten. And that's what makes memory so human. Every time you recall a memory, you change it. Neuroscientists call this reconsolidation. Memories become malleable like soft clay. New emotions, new details, even imagination can slip in. Each recall is like a game of telephone, with yourself. The story shifts, details fade or grow. This isn't a flaw, it's how we learn and adapt. Painful memories can soften, failures can become lessons. But the original event is lost, buried under layers of retelling. What we remember is the last version we told ourselves. We live in an echo chamber of our own stories. The memory is not the event, it's the memory of the last time we remembered it. We fall in love with our own echoes, forgetting we created them. Our minds are storytellers, not archivists. The past is a chorus of echoes, not a single voice, and we are always adding to the song. The story changes, but the need to tell it remains. That's the paradox of memory. If memories are shifting, what does that mean for identity? You're the sum of your stories, brave moments, heartbreaks, triumphs. But these stories are mist, not stone. The self is a narrative, always in revision. The feeling of being me is a convincing illusion. We polish our stories, become the heroes, edit out the flaws. We curate our own museums, choosing what to display. This isn't lying, it's how we create meaning. We need a stable story to navigate the world. But the me of yesterday is not the me of today. The person who lived the event is gone. Only the story remains. Identity is a process, not a thing. You are not reading your autobiography, you are writing it right now. The story is never finished. You are both the author and the character, and the next chapter is always unwritten. We live on the edge between future and past, the present. But try to catch the present and it's already gone. The present is a fleeting transition, a blink. It becomes memory almost instantly. We process life only after it's passed. Experience is raw data, light, sound, sensation. Only when the brain files it away does it become a moment. Meaning is created after the fact. In conversation we replay and reinterpret long after the words are spoken. The past begins the moment the present slips away. Our reality is a continuous process of becoming memory. We live in the echo of the now, not the now itself. Like filmgoers, we understand the plot only by remembering what just happened. The world is not experienced directly but through memory, and that memory is our only reality. The present is always vanishing. The past is always being made. We are always one step behind ourselves, and that's the only way we can know our lives. The brain isn't a filing cabinet, it's a web. Memories are scattered across networks of neurons, sight, sound, emotion all woven together. To remember, the brain reassembles the pieces, not retrieves a file. That's why memories are fragile, damage the network, and the memory changes or vanishes. False memories are easy to plant. Suggestion can create entire stories. Our minds blend fact and fiction with ease. This isn't a defect, it's how we survive. The brain wants a useful story, not perfect accuracy. It bends and invents facts to keep our world coherent. Our stories are shaped by biology as much as by experience. We are wired for storytelling, not record-keeping. The past is a creative act, not a historical record, and that's what makes us human. Where did you come from? Not just your parents, but the moment you began. We have no memory of our birth, our first years. Our origin story is a myth built from photos and family tales. We remember the story, not the experience. This is true for cultures, too. Every nation has a creation myth. These stories aren't literal history, they're poetic truths. They give us identity and meaning. History is a kind of origin myth, neat narratives drawn from chaos. We create heroes, villains, turning points. But these are stories constructed from the present, looking back. The people living then didn't know they were in a turning point. Our beginnings, personal and collective, are invented, not discovered. We need a chapter 1, so we write one. The myth is necessary, even if it's not true. Our stories shape us, even when the facts are lost. The past is a story we need to believe, and so we do. A nation's memory is as selective as an individual's. History is a curated collection of stories, some remembered, some forgotten. Monuments and textbooks shape national identity, but what about the erased stories, the marginalized, the uncomfortable truths? Like personal trauma, a nation can repress its past. The ghosts of forgotten histories linger, shaping the present. Partition, for example, lives in millions of personal, contradictory memories. Official history is only a pale summary. The real story is in the fading diaries of the mind. What we choose to remember defines who we are and who we become. A nation's memory is a living thing, always contested, always changing. The battle over history is a battle for the soul. Our collective story is never finished, it is always being rewritten. We've seen memory as not solid ground but shifting sea. Our identity is a story always in progress. The past is born in the present, each time we remember. If your past is fluid, what is truly fixed? This isn't despair, it's freedom. You are not trapped by your past, you are shaping it now. The anchor is not in the past, but in your values, your choices, your relationships. The past may inform, but it doesn't dictate. You are the writer, not just the story. Take a moment. What story will you write next? The power is and always has been yours. The story is never finished. Who do you choose to be today?